Hello, welcome to the stream. I'm not really talking much, but if you ask me anything in the chat, then I will try my best and answer. Okay, so for this project, what I want to do is I just want to build out um, this landing page. Now this landing page is courtesy of the Tails. I don't know what it's called. It's something from devdojo.com, and it's how do I describe it? It's a web app that I used to build this landing page, drag and drop. And now I have access to this landing page. So I just want to build it out in HTML and CSS and a bit of JavaScript for our toggle right there. So this should be easy enough. It should be simple. And okay, so let's begin. Obviously, I have an empty index HTML, an empty style CSS, and an empty app.js. Okay, so I'm going to say just exclamation and enter for Emmet, and I'm going to link my style sheet, and I've called it style.css, and at the bottom I'm going to link my script tag, which is called app.js, like that. And let me change this title to say Tails landing page. And then I'm going to create a header with a class of header, and inside this header I'm going to create a div with a class of logo with an h2 that says Tails, and then a span inside here that says dot, like that, because remember this is styled differently. Okay, and then below this I'm going to have a nav with a class of navbar and an ID of navbar because I want to be able to target it in my JavaScript. And then inside here I'm going to have an unordered list with how many list items, I wonder. 1 2 3 4 5 6 and 7. Actually, wait. So this logo appears here as well. So what I want to do is I'm going to create a div with a class of logo-nav just so that I can differentiate it from the logo. And I'm just going to grab this because it's basically the same thing, and I'm going to paste it inside here. And then below this I'm going to have a UL with list items, how many? 4 of them. Oops, each of them having an anchor tag, href underscore. Just copy this down like that, and then say home, and then for this one say features, then blog, and then content. Give me a moment, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I thought I had someone knocking at the door. Okay, so let's continue. Below this header, once I've created this another list, I want to have another UL with 2 LIs, each of them having an anchor tag that says hashtag underscore, and this one is going to say sign in. And then finally, this one is going to say sign up, and this will be the call to action button. So I'm going to give this another class of action like that. Okay. So let's see what we have. Let me save this. Let me open this up with the live server, and then I should also grab Tailwind CSS. So we have this looking nice. So let me grab Tailwind CSS from CDN.js. Okay, grab Tailwind. CSS like that. Copy this, paste it below this like so. Okay, so that this refreshes just a bit and it's looking nice. Okay. What to do next? Let me let me just immediately style this up. I don't even need the class of action. Let me just say bg-indigo indigo-600. Okay, let's say text white, and then let me go inside my navbar. This is my navbar, right? Correct. Let me give this navbar a class of first of all, it should be hidden by default, right? It should be hidden by default. What do I want to do? Let me add a padding here. Sorry, padding here of, let's say, padding 5 all round. Move it inwards just a bit. Let me go inside these list items. Give each of these a class of margin on the bottom of 1, or let's say 2. Pushes them down just a bit, just a bit. Going to copy this, and I'm just going to paste it inside here and save that, and it should do that. And for this, let me add some padding, and let's say padding of 2 all round like that. Let's say rounded on the bottom with a rounded large like so. Okay, and then for each of these, let me say border dash bottom, and then let's say border gray dash 200. Okay, so that we have this structure. Let me see how this is. Let me see how this is. Oh, I'm actually doing something wrong. It's our style. No one really cares. Okay. Go inside this UL, give this UL a class of margin bottom of 3, separate it out just a bit from this. Oops, that's the wrong UL. I should have gone inside this one. Let's say 5 or 6. Okay. Let me go inside this H2, and remember this H2 is basically the same as this, so I want to style both of them at once. Give this a class of bg gray dash, sorry, not bg gray, but text gray dash 900, and font bold. Okay, let's say text XL, make it just a bit bigger. Okay, and then go inside this span, give this span a class of text dash indigo dash 600. Okay, so that we have that small dot looking nice. And then once you do that, let me go inside this logo, inside the logo nav, and I'm going to say for this logo nav, let me have a margin bottom of 4. Push it down from this just a bit. And then by default, this navbar is going to be hidden because we don't want it to be visible on small screens by default. So I'm going to say hidden right there, which will make it disappear. Okay, so looking nice. And then we're going to toggle this using JavaScript so that we can toggle the class of show and, and hide basically. So once you do that, let's go ahead and create our first section. So I'm going to say place a comment here and say section 1. And I'm going to create a section with a class of showcase like that, with an h1 that says what? Just going to copy this and paste it inside here, and then a paragraph, and copy this and just paste it inside here. And then below this, I'm going to have a div with a class of buttons with 2 buttons. So I'm going to create a button, and this one says purchase now. Okay, so how do I do this? Actually, this is a link, right? This is a link. Let me place this as a link. So I'm going to say href. It's not going to be going anywhere, so I'm just going to place hashtag underscore and say purchase now. Purchase now. let's see. Within this link, let me place a button here that says only $15 a month, like that. And I'm going to place another link with an href that goes nowhere once again, that says learn more, like that. So let's save that and let's begin styling it. Let's see, so that we have this. Okay, we're going to go inside this h1. We're going to say give this a class of text dash gray dash 900. Let's say font dash bold and text dash 3xl. Let's say 4xl, make it just a bit bigger. And then let's what's the span? Next great idea. So I'm going to grab this and place it inside a span. Oops, like that. And I'm going to go inside this span, give this span a class of let's say text indigo. We're just going to be reusing classes basically, as you can see. And then I'm going to say block so that it goes into the next line. And then I'm going to go back into this h1 and say text center, like that. Let's see. Actually, it's not really centered. It's not text centered. This should say, let's say 6 or 7xl. Make it just a bit bigger. 5 should be nice. Let me remove this text center. Okay, let me go inside my showcase and I'm going to say padding on the top of let's say padding on the y of 20, padding on the x of 10. Push it down and inwards just a bit. And then inside this h1, I'm going to say margin bottom of 5, push it away from the paragraph. Okay, let's change the color of this paragraph. I'm going to give this a class of text dash gray dash 500. Let's say 600. Okay, and then inside this div with a class of buttons, I'm going to say let me just begin by starting this first one. I'm going to give this a class of bg-indigo-600, like that. And I'm going to say padding all round of 3 and rounded of full, like that. And text of white. Actually, wait, what is it? Text of white. Instead of having a button here, let me have a paragraph and then let me place it outside the link. Yep, that should be much better. And then for this first one, I'm going to say width of full. Wait, does that work? Let me say block and then say width full. Okay, let's say text center. Okay, let's say margin top of 4. Let's say shadow of large and transition dash all. And then say for the hover state, let's say shadow dash small. And let's say cursor dash pointer. And then let's also say for the hover, let's have a bg of transparent. And then for the hover, let's change the text to indigo. In indigo dash 600. And then I've just remembered that I need to have a border. Otherwise, let me show you what happens. Otherwise, this happens, it becomes basically white. So I want to have an outline, which is basically the border. So I'm going to go right there. I'm going to say border dash 2 and border dash indigo dash 600. Indigo dash 600. So that we're going to have this. That's looking much better. And then I want to position this absolute within the entire div so that I can place it on the top right. So I'm going to give this div, actually can I remove this class and say relative, and then target this paragraph and give this a class of absolute and place it on the top by 0 and on the right by 0. Give it a bg of green dash 500 and padding of 2 and rounded of full and text dash white text. like so. That's too much padding. Too much padding, too much padding. Let's say padding 1. Reduce the text. Actually, padding 2 works. The text is the one that's large. So let's reduce the text and say text dash extra small. Let's say padding on the x of 2. Okay, and padding on the y of 1. And then let's move it to the negative top. So my minus top of, let's say 2. Move it upwards just a bit, let's say 3. And let's see how this is. Oh, this is per MO. Okay. And then let's say to the right, let's add a minus right margin, minus right of 2. So that we have that. That's looking much better. Okay. Fantastic. Let me just add some bit more margin here. Let's say, actually, instead of adding the margin here, let me add it on the main parent div, and I'm going to say margin top of 5, or let's say 10. Push it down even more. And then let's deal with this second href. Give this a class of text-center. And that doesn't work because this is not a block element. So let's say block. And then let's say text-indigo 600. And then let's say margin top of 4. Let's see. Yeah, that's fine. Margin top of 4 is looking fine. Fantastic. Okay, so that would be it for this section basically. And then actually, I've just realized that I haven't really done anything on the header. So I'm going to go back into my header, give this a class name of flex. Let's see. Let's give it a padding on the y of 5, padding on the x of 10. Terrific. And then let's add a nav here. So let me grab a font awesome because I don't want to do this manually. So I'm going to go back into cdnjs.com and I'm going to grab font awesome. Copy this link tag and paste it just below this. And then right at the end of the nav bar, below the nav bar, I'm going to add a div here and i.fas and fa-bars, which will give us a hamburger icon right there, as you can see. And then now I can go back into my header, right? And I can say items-center and then just say justify between. Okay, that's looking nice. Let me just increase the size of this hamburger icon. Actually, before I do that, let me add a border bottom on the header. So I'm going to say border dash b and border dash gray dash 200, so that we have that. And because I want this border to be inwards just a bit, instead of having a padding on the x here, I'm going to say margin on the x. Oops, margin on the x, like that, so that it just moves inward just a bit. It's much better, much closer to the design. And oh yeah, I wanted to increase the size of this icon. So let me go back inside this and give this a class of text-xl and cursor-pointer. Make it just a bit bigger. Okay. Fantastic. So let's move on into our next area, which is the features section. Okay, so section 1, and I'm going to say end of section -1. And I'm going to create another section. Let me actually press a comment and say section -2. And I'm going to create a section with a class of no, let me just place in the text first so that I'm going to style it later. Okay. And I'm going to say, let me place here an h2 that says features. Is that correct? Our features. So our features, and then below this have a paragraph that says this. So just copy this, paste it inside here, and then within I'm going to have a div, a parent div with a class of cards, and then within these divs I'm going to have a div with a class of card which will represent each of these divs individually. So let's see if I can grab this. Then I'll have to come up with these icons myself. Could be just a bit of a hassle, not so much, just a bit. Let's have h4s here that says, the first one says certifications, and then a paragraph below this that says this. Copy this, paste it in, and then I'm just going to copy this class of card, copy this and paste it 3 more times. So 1, 2, 3, and then this second one says notifications, paste that in, copy this, paste this in, and then the third one says bundles, copy paste, and then copy this text here, paste it inside here, and then finally the fourth one says developer tools. Wait a minute, how many are they? Oh, there are 6. Okay, so developer tools, paste that in, and then copy this paragraph and paste this in. Oops, did something wrong. Copy this and paste this in, and then copy this class of card 2 more times. So 1, 2, and then copy this building blocks, paste it inside here, then grab this text and then paste it inside here, and finally grab this coupons, paste it, and grab this, and there we go. So let's save that. Let's see what we have in our browser, and we have all of this, which is basically not so hard to style. So I'm going to go inside this class of cards. Actually, let me just start with the h2, actually with the section. Give this section a class of padding top of 32 and padding bottom of 20, and padding on the x, let's say, of 10, even though I know this will interfere with our styling just a bit. Not our styling really, but our UI just a bit, because now the background colors won't go all the way to the margin, but I don't really mind that. I actually think it looks better like that. Then go inside this h2, give this h2 a class of font bold. Let's say text for XL, let's say text dash center. Okay, let's say text dash gray dash 900. Okay, go inside this paragraph, give this a class of text dash large and text dash center, like so. And then go inside this class of cards and add a margin on the top of 10. 10 should be fine. And then I'm going to target all of these cards, the card class within the cards parent element, and I'm going to grab all of them by saying Control D. So Control D, grab the next one, and then the next one, and then the next one, and I want to style all of them at once. So I'm going to give all of this a class of bg dash gray dash 200, so that we have this. And then I'm going to say padding of 5, right, and then let's say margin bottom of 5 as well, let's say 10, separate them just a bit, and then say rounded dash large to add a border radius, and then say shadow dash large and transition dash all, and then say for the hover state I want the shadow to reduce to the small, like so. Look at that, it's looking a bit nice. Okay, so instead of having padding all round of 5, let me say padding on the x of 5, and then padding on the y of, let's say, 10. Oh, I deselected them. Okay, that's unfortunate. Let me just do this. Oops. Grab this. Where's the next one? Is it this one? No, that's not what I wanted. I want to grab these ones. Then let me grab this, grab the next one and the next one, and then finally I'm going to say padding on the x of 5 and padding on the y of 10, like so. Let's say padding top of 10 and padding bottom of 5. Okay, and then I want to grab all of these h4s So how do I do that? I'm just going to say inside this class, and I'm going to use Alt. So I'm going to hold down Alt and click, which will add an extra cursor for me, and then do the same here and the same here and here and here. That should be it. I'm going to give all of this a class of text-center and font-bold and text-XL and text-gray-800 and margin bottom of 5. Let's say of 2. And then I'm going to go inside each of these classes. Let's see if that's correct. This is the paragraph selected. Okay, that messes up just a bit. Select this, and then select this. And where is it? Next one is this one, and the next one is this one. I'm going to give each of these a class of text-center, like so. Okay, so now we should begin looking for our icons that we need to place inside here. So let's open up Font Awesome, and let's begin searching for icons. And I'm going to say certificate. Is there a certificate icon here? Doesn't have to be, you know. Let's say file. Let me see these icons. Where are these icons? I'm just going to grab this file video. Oops. I'm going to go back into my index.html, and below this, where is it? Actually, it should be above. I'm going to say i.fas and fa dash what's it called? Dash file. Wait a minute. Is that the correct class? I don't even know whether. Okay, that's the correct class. We can see the icon right there. And then let's grab the next icon for notifications. Let's see what comes up. We can get the bell. So let's go where below this, and I'm going to say i.fas.fa-bell. And then the third one is bundles. So bundles. And I'm going to say oops, file archive. Let's say i.fas and fa-file-archives like that. Let me save this. Let's see if it is really rendering. The third one isn't rendering. Why? It's not archives, it's archive, like so. And then let's say developer tools. Let's say database. Go where? Below this, i.fas.fa-database. And then we have building blocks. Let's say blocks. Let's search for blocks. th large. So let's go below this, i.fas.fa-th-large. And then finally we have coupons. Coupons isn't here really. Let's say redeem. Let's see what redeem gets us. Redeem isn't here. Let's say ticket. Ticket should be here. Let's say ticket out. And I'm going to say i.fas.fa-ticket-out, like that. And let's see what renders. And we have all of this, so we can work with this. Okay, And I've just realized that I should have actually I can just say text center instead of text center on the parent div instead of having to repeat myself like this. So let's see if this works. Let's say text dash center. Yeah. So I'm going to grab this. Actually, let me just begin from the top so that it doesn't mess me up. I'm going to grab this and 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 these three. Remove them. Terrific. And I'm just going to say, wait. Oops. Didn't mean to do that. Wait, what? What is happening? Okay, I see what's happening. So let's say that for each of these shadow small, let me grab this. Wait. Let me grab this one, and then this one, and then this one, and this one, and this one, and this one. And then after each of this, I'm just going to say text dash center, which should now center it all like that. And then I'm going to grab the icons. So I'm going to go inside this FAS class. Just grab this, not this one. I need to grab this one, and then this one, and then this one, and then this one, this one, and this one. And right inside this FAS class, I'm going to say text dash XL. Let's say text dash XL, and let's say text dash white, and let's say BG dash indigo dash 600. Let's say padding of 5, and let's say rounded of full. Let's see how this looks. So that we have this, would you look at that? And it is looking amazing. And then let's say I have a margin on the bottom of 5 just to push it away from the text. Okay, so that's that. We have this working for us. So what we need to do next is just to scale it up, and I've just remembered that we didn't scale up our showcase as well. Yeah. Or should I do that last? Let me just do the feature sections now because it's pretty easy. And let me grab this. These empty classes don't need to be inside here. So let me go inside where's my cards class, right inside here, and I'm going to say that for small screens I want a grid, and then let's say grid dash calls dash 2, and then once again for small screens let's say gap of, let's say 5. See how this looks. We have that. Okay, I need to reduce the margin here, so let me remember why I added margin on the card. Was it here? Margin bottom 10. Let me grab all of them, and let's say that for small screens the margin bottom should be 0, which just resets it, and it's looking nice. And then let's go ahead and continue scaling up, and I'm going to say for large screens I want the grid columns to be 3, and then for extra large actually 3 is enough actually, because I want them to be 3 on full screens. And then let me add some padding on the left and right so that this push inwards, and I'm going to say that for extra large screens I'm going to say padding on the X of 32 should be fine. Yep, 32 is fine. Okay. Now that we're done with our feature section, let's go ahead and create this form. Oops. Let's go ahead and create our form next. So let's see what we need to do. This is section 2. Let me check where this ends. And it ends right here. So I'm going to place a comment and say end of section -2. And I'm going to create another section here. And let me place a comment that says section -3, like that. Place a comment at the end and say end of section -3, like that. And inside here I'm going to have an H5 that says work smarter, and then below this H5 I'm going to have an H3 that says features to help you work smarter. Features to help you work smarter. like that. And then below this, I'm going to have a paragraph, quite a large paragraph. Copy this, paste it inside here. And then below this paragraph, I'm going to have a button, which is basically the same button as we had in our showcase. So let me just go ahead and copy. Which one was it? Where are you? It should have been this one. Purchase now. Copy this. And actually, wait a minute. Wait. I need to remove this block class once I paste it in. So just paste this and then remove this block class and this with full class, and remove the text center as well. Let's see how this looks. Actually, the text should say get started now. Get started today, not now. Like that. Let's see. So that we have that. Okay, fantastic. This should not be rounded full. Let's say rounded large. Okay, terrific. And then we need to create our form. So right inside here, I'm going to say, actually, let me place all of this inside a div, not data grid, a div, like that. And then below this div, I'm going to have a form with no action, of course. And then within this form, I'm going to have, let's say an H3 that says sign up, or let's say an H4 that says sign up, like that. And then a paragraph below this that says this. Copy this, and then we're going to have an href that goes nowhere, but the text will say sign in, like that. And then for this form, we're going to have a label, and we're not going to have a for attribute, but this is going to say name. And then inside here, we're going to have an input that says input type of text with a name of name and an ID of name, like that, with a placeholder that says enter your name, like that, and set this to required. And then we're going to have another label that says email. Below this label, we're going to have an input with a type of email, with a name of email, with an ID of email, a placeholder text that says enter your email address, and set this to required once again. And then finally, we have a label, and this one is called password, and then an input with a type of password, like that, with a name of password and an ID of password, a placeholder that says password, and set this to required once again. And then finally, we are going to have a button with a type of submit that says create account, like that. And then below this, we're going to have another button with no type that says sign up with Google. Et voila. And we're going to save this. Let's see what is rendered on our screen. And we have that. Okay, that's not so bad. So let's start dealing with this form. I'm going to go inside this h5, give this a class name, not class name, we're not in React. Give this a class of text -gray -500, and let's say uppercase. Okay, go inside this section, give this a class name of padding on the x of 10 and padding on the bottom of 20. Did the padding x not work? Wait. Wait a minute, what? This is, I just said it and I repeated the same mistake. It's not class name, it's class. And then let's see what's smarter. Let's change this to 800, and then let's grab this and let's copy it inside here, subclass of this. Okay, let's say font dash bold, text dash 3XL, let's say margin bottom of 4. Let's see, that's quite a big paragraph. Let's say 5XL or 4XL. I think 4 is better. Okay, and inside this paragraph, give this a class of text dash gray dash 200. Oops, not 200, but 600. And then let's have a margin on the bottom of 10 pushed away from the button. Okay, and then once we have this button that says get started, we can say the sign up. Oh, this is correct. This is correct as it is, right? It just needs to be bigger. So let me make it bigger by saying padding on the y of 5 and padding on the x of 4, of 6. Let's say 6. Okay, and then let's go inside our form. Give this form a class of what? Let's increase the margin on the top by 5, by 10. Let's say by 10. Let me go inside this div. Actually, no, this is fine. I don't mind this being white. I know it's gray on this other side. Where is it? Yeah, it's gray on this other side and then white, but I don't really mind having white for both sections. Let's go inside this h4, give this a class of font bold and text dash XL and margin bottom. Actually, there's no need for a margin bottom. And then let's go inside this paragraph, give this a class of text dash gray dash 600. Okay, and then let me go inside this href, give this a class of bg dash indigo, not bg but text dash indigo 600, like that. And then let's say underline so that it has an underline like that. And then let's go inside this paragraph and add a margin bottom of 5 to push it away from the form. And then finally, let's go inside our form. Wait a minute, what am I doing? Let me place this inside a div like that. And actually, you know what, let me place this as a div first of all, and then let me grab this, all of this, and place it inside a form. All of this, place it inside a form. Oops, that's the wrong way to paste it in. Really? Okay, there we go. Nothing should change, as you can see. But then now I can go inside this form and give this form a class, not class name, of flex and items dash center and justify dash. Is this correct? It will break a bit. Yep. Let's say flex column. And we don't need justify center, do we? And we don't need the line items either. Okay. So how are we going to style this? The inputs all have the same styling. Okay. So the most important thing that we need to style here is actually the input. So let me just grab all of them. So I'm going to grab this and hold down the Alt key and click here and click here, and give each of these a class of bg-gray-300. Let's save that. Let's see how that looks. Okay, let's say rounded dash large. Let's say padding all round of 2. Let's say of 4. Okay, let me add a margin bottom of 5 pushed away from each other. Push each of them away like so. Let's increase the margin to 6. And then what do we need? The placeholder text should be what's it called? The placeholder text should be just a bit bold. So let me see, how do you target the placeholder? Let me say placeholder dash actually wait a minute, let's say font dash bold first of all, or rather font dash semi bold. Okay, let's say tracking wide to increase the letter spacing. That should be fine actually. Let me just target each of the labels. I'm going to grab this and this and this. Give each of these a class of font dash bold and text dash gray dash 900 and text dash large and margin bottom dash 2, like so. That's much better. Now let's deal with these buttons. Actually, for this button, I'm just going to grab this class. So let me go inside, where is it? All of this actually. Grab this class and then let me go inside my first button and just paste this class in, like so. Reduce the padding. So I'm going to reduce this padding on the Y to let's say 2. So let me just have a padding all round of 2, like that. Let's say 3. Okay. And then let's for this sign up with Google, how is this style? Just a simple border with a background color of gray on hover, or light gray to be specific. Give this a class of border and a border dash gray dash 200. That's not really visible. Let's say 400. Let's say 300. Then let's say rounded dash large. Let's say margin on the top of 5. Let's say padding all round of 2. Was it 2 or 3? 3. Okay. Then let's say on hover, let's have a BG of gray dash 200. Okay. And then let me say for the text, let me say font dash bold. And then I've just remembered that I want to add a transition, so transition dash all, like so. And let me add the font bold on this as well. So right inside here, I'm just going to say font dash bold, and that should be it. Look at that, we have created our section right there, and we have this. Okay, so let's see, we have our testimonial section next. So I'm going to create let me say section dash 4, and let me say another comment and say end of section dash 4 section. Let me create a section here. Oops, like so. Let's have an H5 that says our customers love our product. Below this, I'm going to have an H3 that says testimonials, and below this, I'm going to have a paragraph that says this. Copy that, paste this in, and below this paragraph, we're going to have a button. And as you can see, we're doing a lot of copy pasting, so I'm just going to grab this button. But remember to remove this type of submit, because this is not a submit button and it's technically a link. Okay, so I'm going to paste this in, remove this type of submit, and actually let me transform this into an href. So href equals to hashtag underscore, like that. And then let's see what else we can do. This should say view case studies, like that. And then let me grab all of this and place it inside the div, like that, so that we can have another div inside here. So I'm going to say div with a class of cards. Once again, we are just reusing the classes. We are reusing the class name, but we're not going to be reusing the classes for, what was it, for these ones, okay, because they're styled differently, just a bit differently. And I don't have this icon currently, so I'm not going to use it. Let's see. Inside this div, the class of cards, I want another div with a class of card, right? And inside this div with a class of card, I'm going to have another div. Okay, I'm going to have another div, and this div is going to have the paragraph. So that, let me grab this, copy this, paste this in, and then below this, I'm going to have an H6 that says this. Copy this, paste this in, and remember, I want to place this inside a span so that I can style it differently, like so. And then outside this div, I'm going to have another div with an image, and I currently don't have these images, so I'm just going to grab them from here and save them as, where is it? It's inside my desktop and it's called tails. and I'm going to say this is called Jane Cooper, like that. This is John Doe, John dash Doe, and this is John Smith, John dash Smith, like so. So that the source for this first image is going to be coming from Jane Cooper, like that. And for the out attribute, I'm just going to say Jane Cooper in case the image fails to load. And then now I'm going to grab this div with the class of card and just copy it 2 more times. 1, 2, okay. And then change the text. So grab this, paste it inside here, change this to John Doe, and then change this to John Doe, like so. Change this to John Doe, and then finally grab this and paste it inside here. Change this to John Smith, John Smith. Change this to John Smith, and then change this finally to John Smith. Let's save that. Let's see what we have. And we have this, so let's begin styling it. Where was I? I need to start styling it from here. Let me give this a class of bg gray dash 200. Okay, let's say 100 to make it just a bit lighter. And then inside here, my h5, I'm going to give this a class of uppercase and text dash indigo dash 600. And then let's say text XL. Let's say margin top of 5. Actually, let me just say margin Y of 5. Okay. Wait a minute. This shouldn't be here. This should be inside this div. Give this div a margin top of 5. Wait, what? Okay, padding top, not margin top, padding top. The CSS box model, guys, that is the CSS box model. It can be confusing at times, you know, because margin is technically outside of an element. That's why it wasn't working here, but we find that the padding works. Let me reduce this to text large. No, text XL is much better. Okay, let me go inside this div, add a padding X of 10, push it inwards. And then let me go inside this testimonials H. The testimonials shouldn't be an H1. Let's say, what did I say? Did I say H3? So I'm going to give this a class of font dash bold, text dash 3XL. Let's see that. And text dash gray dash 900, margin top of 2, margin bottom of 4. Okay, let me see. Okay. The fonts are different, in case you're wondering why this is bolder than mine. The fonts are different. Okay, so let's go inside this paragraph, give this paragraph a class of margin bottom of 10, pushed away from the button, and let's say text dash gray dash 600. Okay, and then finally, let me go inside this div with a class of cards, give it a padding X of 10 and a margin top of 10 as well. Pushed away from the button and push it inwards just a bit. Let's say margin top of 16. Okay. So how do we need to style this? So I'm going to grab each of this. Wait, it just confused me. So inside each of this class of cards, I'm just going to grab all of them using Alt key once again, and I'm going to say display flex. Let's see how this looks. Okay. Then I'm going to say items dash center and justify dash center, and then give each of them a BG of white. Terrific. And I'm going to say padding all round of 5. Let's say rounded of large dash large, and let's say shadow of large. Let's say transition dash all, and say that for the hover state, let the shadow reduce. Let the shadow reduce to small. like so. Okay, okay. So let me go inside the class of actually, let me just deal with the images first. So inside here, let me go inside here and inside here, and finally at the top image here, give this a class of, let's say, width dash 20. Okay, that should be fine. Let's say rounded dash full. Okay, and then let me go inside each of these paragraphs. Let's see, for the paragraph, this is the second paragraph, and this is the third paragraph. I'm going to give this a class of width dash, let's say 9/12, which will take up 75% of this white card. So let's say that let me say 11/12. 11/12 is about what, 90%? That's much better. And let me say margin on the bottom of 3. Okay, and then let me target each of these H6. I'm going to target this one. Oh, that was the last one, so I need to target this one, and finally this one. Give this a class of font dash bold, text dash gray dash 900. Let's see, and then let me go inside each of these spans. So this is the first one, this is the second one, and finally the third one here. Give this a class of text dash gray dash 600. Okay, and let me reduce it to a lighter font weight. That's bad. Let's say semi-bold. Yep, semi-bold is much better. Okay, you know what, instead of having a fixed width for the paragraph, let me just add a margin on the left of it. So I'm going to say margin on the right, sorry, margin on the right of 5. Wait, does that work? Okay, yeah, margin on the right of 5 should be fine. Okay, now I'm going to go back into my card class because I don't want to manually add a margin here because it will interfere with my letter styling. So I'm going to go inside the cards class and I'm going to say display this as a grid with grid columns, grid dash columns dash 2, and a grid gap, oh sorry, dash 1, and a grid gap of 5, which will separate them out, as you can see. Looking nice. Now let me go back inside my section so that I can add some padding on the bottom right there. Let me close this. So I'm going to go back into my section here. Yep, let's say padding on the bottom of 20. Okay, terrific. So that is our testimonial section. And now we should be getting to the frequently asked questions and then the pricing tab. So let's see how we're going to do this. So for section 4, let me go to the end of section 4 right here. Okay, I'm going to place a comment and say section dash 5, and I'm going to create a section here, and this section is going to have an H5 that says frequently asked questions. Okay, and then for each of these are going to be inside divs, so that I can say an H6 here that says what is tails, and then a paragraph below this that gives the answer. So I'm going to grab this, paste it inside here, and obviously using JavaScript to do this is much easier. So I'm going to grab this and I'm going to paste it in how many more times? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. So 1, oops, there's something wrong. Copy this. 1 2 3 4 5 6 and 7. Separate these divs out just a bit so that it doesn't confuse me, like so. And then we're just going to start copy pasting stuff once again. So copy this and paste it inside here. Copy this, paste it inside here. Copy this, paste it inside here, and once again copy this, paste it inside here, and then copy this, and paste it inside here, and then this one and paste it inside here, and then this one, paste it inside here, copy this, paste it inside here. This should have a closing angle bracket like so, and then grab this one, paste it inside here, and then copy this, paste it inside here, and then copy this, paste it inside here, and then copy this and paste it inside here, and then copy this and paste it inside here, and finally copy this and paste it inside here. So let's save this. Let's see what we have in our browser, and we should have this. So let's begin styling it. Now remember that all of these divs are going to have the same styling basically. So what I want to do is I want to grab all of the H6s. So I just want to grab this and this and this and this one and this one and this one and this one and this one. Give each of these a class of, let's say, font dash bold, or let me say semi bold, and text dash gray dash 900. Let's say margin bottom of 4. What else can we add? Margin bottom of 4 should be fine. So let's save that, and we should have this. And then let me grab each of these divs. So where's the first one? This is the first one, the second one, third one, fourth one, fifth one, sixth one, seventh one, and the eighth one. Oops, should be here. I'm going to give this a class of margin bottom of 20. Oops, not 20. I thought that was 20 pixels. Let's say margin bottom of 5. Nope, of 8. That should be nice. So that once we have margin bottom of 8, then we have this. Now let me go back inside here and add some padding on the top and on the bottom and on the left and right. So inside the parent class, I'm going to go inside this section, give this a class of padding on the Y of 20 and padding on the X of 10. Okay, I'm going to go inside this, give this a class of font dash bold and text dash XL, and then let's say margin bottom of 10. Okay, terrific. So that is our frequently asked questions section, and we can move on to the next section where we're going to create our pricing. Let's see. Pricing shouldn't be all that hard. So this is section 5. Let me see where it ends, and it ends right about here. Place a comment and say end of section dash 5. Okay, and I'm going to create a section here, another section, and I'm going to give this an H4 that says simple transparent pricing, and a paragraph that says this. I'm just going to copy this, paste it inside here, and then below this paragraph I'm going to have a div, and this div is going to have an H3 that says starter, an H3, not an H1, H3 that says starter. And then let's have an H5 that says $5, and inside a span I'm going to say per month, like that. Place another paragraph and says ideal for startups. Actually, I can just copy it, speed it up just a bit, and then below this paragraph we're going to have a UL with 3 LIs like so, and these LIs are going to have an icon. So i.fas.fa-check. Is that correct icon? I highly doubt it. I highly doubt whether that is the correct icon, but we're going to find out in a moment. So this says automated reporting. This says faster processing, and this says customizations, like that, customizations. And then below this UL, we have a button that says select plan, like so. Okay, this is simple styling. Let me just style it. I'm going to say border and border dash, let's say indigo dash, probably 600 is the best. Let's see. Okay, that's looking nice. And then I'm going to say, you know what I've just realized? I have just realized that this should be inside another div so that I can be able to style it in terms of CSS grid. So I'm going to grab all of this and place it inside a div. Just paste that in. Okay. And I'm going to go inside this div. Okay, and say give this a class of grid, and grid dash calls dash 1 and grid gap of 5, separated just a bit, but nothing really happens because we only have one element. Okay, so for this button, I'm going to give this a class of block and a width of full, like so. And then let me go back into this parent element and say padding on the x of 10, like that. And let me go inside this, place this inside a div so that I can go inside this div and say give this a class of padding on the x of 10 as well. Move it inwards. Okay, give this h4 a class of font dash bold and text dash 2xl. Okay, let me see. This is text center, so I'm going to go inside this div and say text dash center, like so. Okay, let's say 3xl or 4xl. Make it just a bit bigger. Let's say 3xl. Okay, now I'm going to say margin on the bottom of 2, now of 1. And then let me go inside this. Actually, you know what? I can just go inside this parent div and say margin on the bottom of 5, pushed away from all of this. And then let me see. Let me go inside this first div, give this a class of text dash center, which will center everything, but we don't really want that. We're going to return this to the left. Okay, so actually this is the correct icon now that I've just noticed it. So let me grab each of these icons and change their color to indigo. So I'm going to say text dash indigo dash 600. Okay, fantastic. And I'm going to go inside this UL and give this a class of text dash left, which should now take it back to the left. Terrific. Let me say margin top of 5, margin Y of 5 because it's on the top and bottom. Okay. And let me go inside this section and give this a class of padding bottom of 20. Okay, terrific. I need to go inside this div, give this div a class of border and border dash gray dash 400. Right, let's say padding of 5 all round. Let's say rounded dash large. Okay, and then let's go inside this h3, give this h3 a class of font dash bold and text dash 2xl, and let's say margin bottom of 5. And then let's go inside this h5, give this h5 a class of text dash 5xl and text dash gray dash 900. And I need to copy this and paste it inside here as well so that it has the same text color, and on this h4 as well. Paste that in. Let's see how that looks. Okay, and then inside here I'm going to say font dash bold. Terrific. And then I'm going to go inside this span, give this span a class of text dash gray dash 600 and text, reduce it to text large, or rather text base back to 16 pixels. And then let's say font dash light, let's say semi bold, like that. That's looking nice. It's looking amazing. And then actually, what else do we need to do? just add some margin on the top and bottom for this paragraph. So give this paragraph a class of margin top of 5 and margin bottom of 8 of 10. And finally, let's tell our button here. And for the button, I'm going to say rounded dash large, correct. Let's say padding all round of 3. Let's say for the hover, then I want the background to change to indigo, right? And I want the text to change to, actually, wait a minute, the text should be indigo as well. So text indigo. And then for the hover, then I want the text to change to white. And then let's say transition dash all, so that we have that looking fantastic. And let me see, I need to add some margin between these list items. So I'm going to grab this one and this one and this one. I'm going to give this a class of margin y of 2 and font dash bold, like so. Okay, let's say text large, text dash large. Okay, so that we have our starter pricing card. So all we need to do now is just copy this and change out a few things for the rest of the cards. So what I'm going to do is copy this div. Is this the correct div? Yes, indeed it is. So let me grab it from here, copy, and then paste it here. Let's save that. And we're going to have this. So let me see how this is styled. This is the basic. Wait, which one is it? It's even confusing me. This is called basic, like that, and it's $15 per month. And what does the text says? Ideal for medium businesses. Grab this, paste it inside here, and it says everything in starter. Wait, everything in starter, like that. And we're going to say 100 bills, progress reports, like that. And I'm going to copy this list item one more time and say premium support, like that. Let's see what we have. We just need to change up our button a bit. So for our button, we're going to have the opposite effect, where this is now going to be filled by default. So I'm going to say bg-indigo-600. And then for the hover, then I just want to change to around, let's say 700, just a bit darker. Okay, and then let's change the text to white by default. So grab this, change this to text dash white, and then we no longer need this hover for text white. Okay, so that we have that, and that is our basic. But remember, our basic has a different border, so I can say border dash 4. Let's say border indigo should be correct. Wait, that's the wrong class. It should be inside my div. Where's my div? Inside here. So border dash 4, and let's say border dash indigo dash 600. Terrific. So that we have this. And now what I'm going to do is just copy this div one last time. So this div, and just paste it below this other div, this one here. Paste it in, and let's see what this has to say. It says $25 per month, and it's called the plus. So let's see, this is called plus, and it's $25 per month. And it says here ideal for larger and enterprise companies. Paste that in, and it says everything in basic, copy and paste. Unlimited builds, copy and paste. Advanced analytics, copy and paste. And finally copy this one last time and say company evaluations, copy and paste. So let's see that this is styled the same as this, so we're not really going to do anything, as you can see. Terrific. And then finally we have wait, what? Oh, finally we have our footer. our footer. After 543 lines, we finally have our footer. So this is a footer, right? So I'm going to say give this a footer with a class of what? Actually, just give it footer. And for this footer, I'm going to have a UL with the list items that are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Each of these having an anchor tag that doesn't go anywhere, like that. So just copy this, paste it inside here, like that. And this says terms, this says contact, okay, this says pricing, this says team, this says blog, and finally this says about, like so. And then below this, we're going to have another UL with list items that are 5, and each of these are going to have a social media icons. Let me just start with Facebook by default, and I'm going to change this to Instagram, change this to Twitter, change this to GitHub, and change this to, this is a globe icon, right? Globe. So, and it should be FAS, and a globe has an E at the end, don't forget that. And then inside the footer, we have a div with a class of copyright. Actually, we don't need even the class of copyright. I can just say a paragraph inside here that says Control-Alt-C, which will place the copyright symbol, or you can say ampersand copy and semicolon. It still places the ampersand symbol, and it says some company incorporated, all rights reserved, like so. Let's save that, and let's see what we have. And we have this. We just need to style it up a bit. So for the footer, I'm going to say for this first UL, I'm going to say give this a class of flex and items dash center and justify dash center, like that. And then I'm going to go inside this list items, like so. Give this a class of margin on the x of 2, okay. And then I'm going to go inside this hrefs, right inside here, give this a class of text dash gray dash 900. Wait, does that not work? Not 900, but 600. Okay, so that we have that. Fantastic. And then I'm going to go inside this second UL, give this a class of flex once again, and items dash center and justify dash center, like so. And go inside these individual list items, give this a class of mx-1, and then go inside this class of icons and say text dash let's say text dash gray text dash gray dash 600. Let's see how that looks, and let's increase the size, let's say text dash XL. Okay, and for the hover, I'm going to say the text dash gray dash 900 just to make it a bit darker, and I'm going to say transition dash all. Okay, so that we have this happening for us. And let me remember to add cursor dash pointer, like so. Okay, fantastic. Now that we have that, we can deal with our copyright finally. And I'm going to give this a class of text dash center, and then I'm going to go inside this paragraph, give this a class of text dash gray dash 600. Okay, and let me remove this. I want to place the copyright, so Control-Alt-C on Windows. And then let me separate these ULs out a bit. Where's this UL? It starts here and ends here, and I'm going to say margin on the Y of 5. Push each of them out a bit, and let me go inside the footer. Where's my footer? Right here. And I'm going to say give this a class of padding bottom of 10. Okay, let me place a comment here that says end of section dash 5, like so. And would you look at that, we are finally done with the mobile version. After how many lines of code? Yes, exactly. 588 lines of code. And I am pretty tired because I think I've been streaming for quite a while right now. Let me just check for how long. Wait, did my stream disconnect? It's telling me that I started streaming less than a minute ago. Did my stream disconnect? That would be terrible. It would be terrible. Let me just confirm if OBS disconnected. Let me see. Nope, it's telling me I'm still streaming 2 hours 9 minutes. Okay, that should be fine. Should be fine. Okay. Now let me see how we can do this for the desktop version, because this is it's going to be quite a hassle scaling it up to the desktop version. You know? And what I'm going to do is I've lost chat. Just give me a moment. Let me see. Okay, there we go. So let's see. Let me go back into, because there's not really much that I'm going to do for a footer. It's just going to remain like this. Okay, but I just need to display this as a grid, for example. So let me see where I had my section 5. Let me see if I displayed it as a grid. Where are you? Where are you? End of section. Wait, what? So this is section 6. Section dash 6, which means that this bottom one should say section 6, not 5. Okay. So where's the grid? Right here. So I'm going to say for small screens, I want the grid columns to be 2. And then for large screens, I want the grid dash columns to be 3. Let's see that. Let's see how this looks. Okay, that's looking fantastic, as you can see. And then I'm going to say that for extra large screens, I want the padding on the X to be 32 so that this moves inwards like so. And that is it for this section. And then I'm going to go into the frequently asked questions section, which should be this. So end of section 5, right about here. And I'm going to say for this section, I'm going to say that for large screens, then the width should be 2/3, which is 66%. Not really, let's say half. Okay, wait. Is that correct? Okay, that is correct. That is correct. That is correct. And I'm going to say, for large screens, I'm going to say MX Auto so that it centers, so that these questions can come to the center. Look at that. It's looking amazing. And that is it basically for this section, as you can see. There's no, yeah, I think this is still fine. And then now we need to go into our testimonials. And for the testimonial section, what I want to do is just display this as a grid and then these 3 items as a grid. I think that's how I structured it, or at least I hope so. And I'm going to say, where is it? Where is this div starting? Where are you starting? Here. Okay, I placed it as a grid. Fantastic. So I'm going to say that for medium screens, which is basically for tablets, I'm going to say grid columns -2. And we should see, oops, that is not what I wanted. That is not what I wanted. I want to go inside this section. This is a div on its own, and then this is another item. So I'm going to go inside this. I'm going to say for medium screens, display this as a grid. And then for medium screens, I'm going to say grid dash columns dash 2. Let's see how this looks. This should be okay. There we go. And then I'm going to say for medium screens, I'm going to say item center. Does that work? There we go. So that we have this section for medium screens. And then once again, I want to I want to increase the padding on the left and right for large screens. So I'm going to say extra large, padding on the X of 32. Okay, so that we have this. And would you look at that? It is looking amazing. Let me just increase the size of this testimonials header, and which is where are you? Where are you? You are here. And I'm going to say that for large screens, I want the text to be 6XL. Make it just a bit bigger, like so. Fantastic. And then finally, for this section, I want to do the same thing that I have done here, where I want this to appear on the left and then the form to appear on the right. So let's see, this is section 4, section 3, sorry. So this is a div. Where is this div ending, or beginning rather? So it begins here. Which means I can go inside this section and say that for medium screens, I can say grid, and then for medium, I'm going to say grid dash calls dash 2. Let's save that. And we have this, and then I want to bring this to the center once again, so I'm going to say medium items dash center. Push it down. Correct. Fantastic and amazing. Let me increase the size of this header. So I'm going to go inside this H3, and I'm going to say that for extra large screens, or rather for large screens, I'm going to say text dash 6XL. Okay, fantastic. And then finally, I'm going to say that for XL here, padding on the X should be 32. Push it inwards just a bit, as you can see, make it a bit more uniform. Okay, and we already did this, so we are good to go. And then now we just need to deal with this, where I'm going to, what am I going to change? Instead of this being block, I want it to now be an inline element, right? That should be it. So let's see, where does my showcase begin? My showcase begins right here, section 1. So inside this class, I'm going to say that for medium, I want this to display as inline, which will do this. Or rather, let me see what inline block does. No. Let me remove this, and then let me go inside my section class inside here, and I'm going to say flex items dash center and justify dash center, and it might break a bit, of course, as expected. And I need to add flex column here, flex dash column, and now this should be fine. Fantastic. And I just want to display this as what's it called, as text center. So on the H1, I'm going to say text dash center, like that. And then for large screens, I want to increase it massively to 8XL. Look at that, fantastic. And as you can see, this is already nice as it is. I don't need to do this. I just want to increase the size of the paragraph. So I'm going to go inside here, and I'm going to say that for large screens, increase this to text dash XL. Make it just a bit bigger. And would you look at that? It's looking amazing. And finally, the only thing that we're remaining is our header, our navigation links, I mean. So basically what I want to do is I want this to disappear, and I want my navigation links to appear. So this is probably going to be a tricky part, because we're just going to be playing around with styling. Okay, so inside here, let me start by inside here, and I'm going to say that give this a class of large, where I'm going to say, actually let me just say medium, and I'm going to say that for medium screens, then I want this to be hidden. There you go, it disappears. And remember that we placed this to be hidden by default, so I'm going to say that for medium screens, then I want it to be block, so that it appears like so. And then we want to start resetting our styles basically. So we want to remove the border, we want to remove we want to add the rounded border for this call to action button, and then we want to remove this extra header, and then we want this to display as a flex. So let's begin by the header right inside here, and I'm going to say for medium screens, I want this to be hidden so that it disappears like so. And then I'm going to target each of these list items. So I'm just going to grab this, because this is basically what we're going to do. And I'm going to say that for medium screens, then I want border to be 0. That should fix it. There you go. So it removes the underline that we had. And then remember, we have a margin bottom of 6 here. I don't want that anymore. So I'm going to say for medium screens, I want the margin bottom to be 0, so that it resets it just a bit. And what else did we have? I want to reset this as well. So I'm going to say for medium, I want the margin bottom to be 0. just reset everything so that it doesn't mess us up in terms of styling. Okay, so what do we need to do? We need to, I have a margin bottom of 4 here, so I'm going to say medium margin bottom of 0. That's a good way to do it. If this confuses you a bit, all you have to do is just reset your styles first of all, and then just begin styling it over, technically begin styling it over again. Okay, so I'm going to go inside this UL, and I'm going to say that for medium screens, I want this to be a flex. And watch what happens. This happens, which means I need to go inside this other UL, give this a class of MD and colon say flex, like so. And then I need to go inside, where is it? Where is it? Inside this header, and I'm going to say, I think I did something wrong. Did I do something wrong? I think I did. Let's see, because this is already justified between, so that's why this is to the end and this is also to the end. So, but why is it behaving like that? Because this is the first element and the nav should be the second element. Okay, that's why. So let me grab this, let me move this outside of this so that this would now center. Yes, there we go. There we go. That's looking amazing. And then this has a padding all round of 2. So what I need to do here is MD and say items dash center, which will push this down a bit. There we go. And then remember we have a rounded bottom large. So I just want to say for medium screens, I want to say rounded dash large so that it will now be rounded all over like that. And then I'm going to say for medium screens, I want the margin on the left to be 2, push it away from this sign in button like so. And then we just want to deal with this next. So I'm going to go back inside here, target each of these classes, this one and this one and this one and this one. And I'm going to say that for medium screens, I want the margin on the X to be 2, like so. And would you look at that? It's looking amazing. Let me just see if this works. Let me see if this works. And as you can see, something breaks, and the reason why it breaks is because remember I've taken this out of the normal flow of our nav. So what I need to do is add here to be hidden by default, and then say that for medium I want it to display block. So now it's going to be hidden like so. And then when I increase the width to past 768, then it goes into block. And would you look at that, it's looking amazing. Now let me just add margin on the left and right so that this pushes inwards as well. And remember I've said margin because I want this line to also push inwards. So I'm going to go inside the header, and I'm going to say that for external screens I want the margin of the X to be 32, which will push this inwards. And would you look at that, we are done with our landing page and it is looking amazing, if I do say so myself. And I'm actually really proud of it. It's actually a very nice design. And yes, you can use this for your portfolio because it's actually a it's very neat. It's very neat. Okay. One thing that I recommend you do though is that you can add a toggle for each of these FAQs, because this is taking up quite a bit of space on the web page. Or you can, because there are 8 questions here, you can display 4 of them on one grid and then the rest of the 4 on another grid. It gives a semblance of uniformity, and it's actually a very nice layout to work with. So that is going to be it basically. Been streaming for around 2.5 hours. My back is aching and I need to take a break, and this is looking amazing. So I've noticed that there are some who have been with me since the stream started. I want to thank you very much. Thank you very much. And I hope to see you in the next stream as well. Though it's been a while since I streamed on YouTube, and the reason is because I've been doing live streams on Twitch instead. So you can follow me on https twitch.tv/TsbSankara, and you can follow me on Twitter as well at TsbSankara, because that's where I give updates of new videos and when I'm going live. Though I didn't give any update that I was going to be live today, and the reason why I didn't give the update is because I didn't know that I was going to be live. I just did it as an impulse because I felt like doing it, and I started with a simple project where I didn't really feel like talking. Okay, so this is actually very nice. This video is going to be released. I'm going to release it as a separate video because apparently live streams are quite hard to find. You know, they're quite hard to find and watch them. I don't know whether it's because they're ranked as unlisted or what. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to edit this video. I'm going to edit out the first part where I was doing the other project, and then I'm going to upload it most likely tomorrow. I'm not quite sure because I'm quite tired. But yeah, that's what I'm going to do. And I think that's going to be it for this live stream. And I've just noticed something that is bothering me. I don't want this to be here. I don't want this to be so close. So I need to add a grid gap. And where is it? This is the feature section. Let me just search for work smarter. And right inside here for the medium item center, I'm going to say medium, add a grid gap of 10, which will just separate this out just a bit. And there we go. It's looking amazing. Fantastic. Okay, so that is going to be it for this live stream, and I hope to see you in the next live stream as well. So thank you guys so much for watching, and bye bye.